Buying a home is a major life event. Right after reaching this pinnacle of happiness, my marriage began to fall apart. I'm Anna, 30 years old. My husband, John, is 35, and we have a 3-year-old daughter, Sarah. We finally got to buy our dream home. When I tell people this, they usually respond with something like, "Wow, that sounds perfect. You must be so happy." Normally, that would be true, but not in my case. Lately, I've been stressed out by the new house we're building and our mother-in-law, Maria. The first step towards our relationship's breakdown happened when we left our daughter at my in-laws' house. Both my husband and I work full-time and barely have any free time during the week. We mostly went house hunting and discussed design plans on weekends. Bringing Sarah along was tricky because she'd get bored and fussy, so we usually left her with my parents who live nearby. But one morning my father was sick and had to go to the hospital, so they couldn't take care of Sarah. I thought we'd have to cancel our plans for the day, but then my husband suggested, "Why don't we leave her with my parents?" To be honest, I don't get along well with my in-laws. They believe there's no need to be considerate of their son's wife, and that they can say whatever they want to me since I'm just their daughter-in-law. What era are they living in? Besides, I felt uneasy about asking them to take care of a 3-year-old on such short notice. But if we postponed our plans, it would delay the house's completion. After much deliberation, I reluctantly decided to leave Sarah with them just for that day. Once our errands were done, we bought some fancy sweets as a thank you gift and headed straight to my in-laws' house. By the time we arrived in the evening, my in-laws were in a good mood, likely because of the gift. After thanking them and heading home, Sarah asked, "Mommy, where's Grandpa and Grandma's room in the new house?" I was taken aback. Sweetie, what are you talking about? Did Grandpa and Grandma ask you that? What did you say?" "I said I didn't know," she replied, then resumed talking to her stuffed penguin. "Maybe they were wondering if they would have a room to stay in when they visit," I thought. From then on, my in-laws started visiting often during the evenings and holidays when we were home. Currently, we live in a small, old, rented apartment to save money for the house. Whenever my in-laws visit, they make themselves comfortable and demand to see the house plans. Before I can stop him, John eagerly shows them the plans and starts explaining everything. Why does he have to show them everything? It's bad enough they come over so often. After that, my mother-in-law always bombards me with questions. It's like a congressional hearing. And it's not John who has to answer, it's me. I can almost hear a chairman call my mother-in-law.
"Maria, your turn to speak."
"This kitchen layout is impractical. Change it. The living room is too small. Make it bigger. As people age, they need larger spaces to feel comfortable. And one kid's room isn't enough if you have another child. What are your thoughts on the declining birth rate?"
Okay, that last one is a joke. She hasn't grilled me on birth rates yet. Now it's my turn to speak.
"Anna?"
We discussed this with the contractors and made decisions together. The foundation is already laid, so we can't change the layout now. Please understand. I said this rather irritably. Then she starts asking about furniture and appliances, digging for every detail. My mother-in-law claims to be a home professional.
"I visit many friends' homes and study their rooms. With my trained eye, I can easily tell what's cozy and stylish. Ugh, this house, this room is all wrong. It'll drive away good luck and make work difficult. Just terrible."
Yeah, right. She's no expert, just a meddler. I got so fed up that I joked. Why don't we make it a 2-family house and split the cost? My in-laws were furious.
"Are you saying we should pay? How ungrateful."
"I hate the idea of living separately like strangers."
That day, they left in a huff. Yeah, go ahead and leave. You aren't my parents anyway, and I don't owe you any respect. You're just a burden. That night, after putting Sarah to bed, John angrily confronted me.
My parents are just trying to help. Don't be so cold.
I'm not being cold. But your parents are really rude, always interfering with our plans and acting superior just because I'm their daughter-in-law.
That's normal for parents. You're disrespectful. Think about how others feel for once. Cool off and reflect.
He turned away and refused to talk anymore. Sure, they're your parents, but we're a separate family. Besides, they haven't helped us financially at all. They just give orders without contributing, which is incredibly rude. I couldn't calm down and spent the night fuming over the unfairness. Eventually, the house was finished. We were excited to move in, but just after we settled, John dropped a bombshell.
Starting today, my parents are moving in with us. Dad will take the bigger room upstairs, and Mom will take the smaller one.
Hold on a second. What are you talking about? We agreed the upstairs rooms would be for Sarah. I never heard about them moving in. Besides, your parents might complain about the rooms like they usually do.
They won't complain. They've already seen the rooms, so there's nothing to worry about.
When did they see the rooms?
Day before we had our walkthrough.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me your parents saw this house before we did?
Yeah. They wanted to see it, so I gave them the keys. It's not a big deal. It's not like it hurts anything.
John, acting as if the discussion was over, returned to the task of setting up the TV. Not a big deal, I thought. It is now. I was so angry that I left the kitchen unpacking unfinished and went upstairs. I locked the door and tried to calm down my chaotic thoughts. I was genuinely thankful that Sarah was at daycare, allowing me to think things through alone. This sudden announcement about living together made me lose all respect for both John and his parents. I didn't want to be around them for another second. But we had just bought this house, a significant investment. I needed to stay calm and composed, think about what to say and what not to say for the sake of Sarah's and my future. I stayed in the room, gathering my thoughts, waiting for John's parents to arrive. As John said, his parents arrived in the early afternoon with a truckload of their belongings.
Sheesh. At least greet us. Ugh, no matters whatsoever.
Oh, it's still a mess here. How slow can she be?
Maria added, and then she just marched into our new home as if it were her right. Listening from upstairs, I eventually walked out to the entrance. Maria and Sean, I wasn't informed about you moving in, I said, my voice colder than I expected. Sean quickly shot back.
We told John, so there shouldn't be any issue.
Yes, there is an issue. I only found out about your intentions this morning, and I have no plans to live with you two. You're so disrespectful.
Excuse me? John said it's fine. You think you, a mere daughter-in-law, can defy your husband?
Absolutely,
Maria chimed in.
If you don't like it, why don't you just leave, Anna?
It was hopeless. I'd known for a long time that we were too different to communicate. As I struggled to respond, John came rushing over, alarmed.
What the hell are you doing, Anna? Don't fight with my parents.
Fight? This isn't a fight. I'm just being insulted because I'm their daughter-in-law. And now you're blaming me too. You're all the same. John, I can't live with your parents.
Come on, don't make this difficult. You're my wife, so you should follow what I say.
I'm a person before I'm your wife. Do you think you can just force me to obey? Listening to our argument, Sean yelled.
We don't need a wife like that in this family.
John surprisingly agreed.
Maybe it's best if we divorce. I can't have a wife who doesn't respect my parents.
Finally, I had what I wanted. Fine, let's get a divorce, I said clearly. John and I exchanged words of divorce, and I hoped my phone in my pocket recorded everything. We will be strangers now, so you need to return the $790,000 I lent you for the house, I demanded. Sean gasped in shock, and John turned pale. I calmly explained to his confused parents. Your son didn't contribute a single cent to the house. It was built entirely with my savings because he's financially irresponsible. We agreed to share living expenses equally and save what's left in our accounts. but he spent his money recklessly and didn't save anything. I continued.
Anna, you don't have to go that far.
Every word is true. And when it was time to buy the house, you insisted it be in your name. That's why I lent you the money. I have a promissory note, so there's no denying it. I replied firmly.
That's not...
Leaving my stunned husband and in-laws behind, I quickly packed my valuables, clothes, and Sarah's favorite toys into a suitcase and duffel bag. I took Sarah's beloved penguin plushie and loaded everything into my car, then drove off. I said goodbye to the new house that had been ours for such a short time. I picked up Sarah from daycare and headed to my parents' house. They were surprised to see me arrive with so much luggage out of the blue. It's so sudden, and I don't want to impose. I could always stay at a hotel, I said hesitantly. My parents quickly stopped me. Later, I found out that they were worried I might be thinking about ending our lives. Actually, it was the opposite. I had vowed to protect her no matter what. I explained everything to my parents. I told them I wanted to divorce my good-for-nothing husband and that I was determined to get custody of my daughter. They promised to support me completely and offered to let us stay with them for a while. This was a huge relief for me since I was working. That night, I documented everything that had happened with my husband and in-laws. I saved the audio recordings of our conversations on my phone to my computer and external media. Armed with this, I spent my vacation days and weekends visiting various law offices until I found a trustworthy lawyer and officially hired them. A week quickly passed since I left the new house. After work one day, I found someone waiting for me. It was my husband. I would say ex-husband, but we were still legally married as the paperwork hadn't been filed yet. I didn't want to talk to him, but I was afraid he might do something rash, so I suggested we go to a more public place like a coffee shop. I made sure to turn on the recording function on my phone just in case. I tried to stay calm and asked, "Do you have something to say?"
About the house. You can have it. I'll change the name on the deed. Just forgive the debt, okay?
I'm sorry, but I can't live in that house anymore. Your parents were there before us.
Who cares about that detail?
It matters to me, so it's not possible, I said firmly, taking a sip of my coffee and studying my soon-to-be ex-husband. His hair was disheveled, he had a scruffy beard, and he looked unhealthy. His suit was wrinkled, and his shirt hadn't seen an iron or a dry cleaner in a while. I couldn't help but think how worn out he seemed.
Please, Anna, I can't repay that huge amount of money so easily,
he pleaded. You knew it was a lot when you borrowed it. I even suggested we both be on the deed or just me, but you insisted it be yours. I reminded him.
I thought I should be the head of the house. And the divorce, I didn't mean it. Why did you take it seriously?
I meant it. I'm done. The divorce is happening. It's not just your incompetence. Your parents are insufferable, I said, determined. Sarah is waiting for me. If we're done here, I'm leaving, I said, standing up.
Wait, I'm taking her,
John demanded. His words worried me. Back at my parents' house, I asked them to make sure Sarah was never taken by force. A few days later, the daycare called to say that someone resembling my in-laws was there. I left work early and rushed to the daycare. Thankfully, they had kept Sarah away, and my in-laws were waiting in a separate room. As soon as I entered the room, my mother-in-law started yelling.
Give us back our granddaughter, you greedy thief!
What do you mean? I haven't stolen anything.
If not a thief, then a fraud. You must have done something shady to get that money. There's no way you had that much money at your age.
No, every cent I lent John was mine. I got it honestly from my savings and gifts from my parents and grandmother, I explained.
Gifts?
Yes. They gave me the maximum amount each year without incurring gift tax. Plus, I sold stocks and saved diligently. It all adds up.
I can't believe it was really your money.
You didn't gift John anything? You can start now, I suggested, knowing their financial situation. Sean groaned and fell silent. Maria, who loved luxury, never thought about saving or gifts. I knew this. I'm divorcing your son and taking custody of my daughter. Please, don't come to the daycare anymore, I said, taking Sarah and leaving. Despite my warning, John and his parents came a few more times. Each time, I calmly tried to turn them away, but sometimes they grabbed me or hurled insults. I recorded everything on my phone. About a month after I left the new house, I sent a letter through my lawyer demanding repayment of the loan and agreeing to the divorce. John mostly agreed, but wanted to fight for custody. However, when I mentioned alimony, he quieted down. With my evidence and their lack of savings, it took some time, but I got the money back and full custody of Sarah. It took longer than expected for John to repay the loan, because selling the new house was difficult. I thought John and his parents would live in the new house, but they couldn't afford the $790,000. John had no savings, and even selling their old house wasn't enough. Eventually, they sold the new house for less than they paid and had to lower the price multiple times before finding a buyer. John took out a loan to cover the difference. Now, he lives in his parents' rundown house with them and his sister, who moved back with her 2 sons after her divorce. The house is crowded, and their constant arguing is infamous in the neighborhood. They no longer bother us, probably because they can't afford child support and are too ashamed. 4 years later, Sarah is now in 2nd grade. We live near my parents, who help us a lot. I thought it might be fine to stay single and just raise my daughter on my own, but now I'm actually seeing someone. He's a 36-year-old man with a 1st-grade daughter and a history of divorce. We met at daycare, started talking, and he eventually confessed his feelings. Now our daughters play together, and we go out as a family. Recently, Sarah said,
If we get a new house again, we should all have our own rooms, and we should get a dog.
Her words made my heart skip a beat. That man had proposed to me a while back. I asked him to wait because of our daughters, but my mind is made up. I hugged Sarah and said, Yes, sweetie, let's get a new house again. This time, we'll make sure everyone is happy.